because
Yeah.
we actually offer quite a few features,
Yeah.
more than a dozen that covers a wide range. So I can highlight what the whole suite looks like, but undoubtedly where most of our attention, a lot of our biggest sellers and brands that work with us utilize our API alongside Manychat. So make sure to touch on that as well. So I'll go ahead and share my screen so we can hop over here. And we can first take a look at the Seller.Tools platform. So when you get access, first log in. This is really going to be the first thing that you see once you do an initial sync and MWS sync with your Seller Central account. So that way, Seller.Tools, Seller Central can communicate effectively, see what products you're selling, what ASINs, what products we have to be able to manage. And in this view, this is really a hub for that type of information. So this is where we can see where our products are, their relative sales rank, both current and change. Same with keywords. So that way you can keep tabs on the number of keywords you're managing in Seller.Tools and their relative change. This is a great at a glimpse any potential for flags here, right? Where if all of a sudden you're seeing a dramatic drop in keyword performance, that's when you and your team need to act quite quickly, potentially change your Manychat flows, change your Facebook ad strategy. This is where some of that's informed based on performance and data. Then your product's price, number of reviews, reviewable. This is a really great feature where you can see if an ASIN has a review block. Very insightful if you're spending a lot of money and time to capture reviews without knowing that an ASIN has a review block on it. That's really wasted effort. So knowing that at a glance is really important too. We also have a good set of features that help you with keyword research, just kind of a high level view of what that looks like. Features like Last Search, which is our seed keyword discovery tool. It's like auto suggest on steroids. You give it a main keyword, garlic press, it's going to look for garlic press stainless steel as well as stainless steel garlic press. It's going to look at a keyword both ways. That's really the auto suggest on steroids, giving you a number of keyword ideas. R2A is probably our most popular keyword research tool. The acronym stands for Real Reverse ASIN. It is our bold way of approaching reverse ASIN, addressing a lot of the pain points that we really saw with keyword research and reverse ASIN approaches that we were seeing out in the space. And it's a really seamless workflow. This is really meant to be keyword research in 5 minutes, where you can come in here, add in your main or master keyword. So let's say I'm selling hyaluronic acid serum. If I was selling garlic press, I would add that keyword there. It's my main or master keyword. Run a search, let it then find top competitors for that keyword to capture, from which then we run a reverse ASIN. So again, it's doing the work for me based on that main keyword, finding top competitors. So I'm going to say those that are ranked in the top 4 positions for my keyword, hyaluronic acid serum. I'm going to take those. Because again, if they're ranking highly, they probably have some really great revenue generating keywords. I can confirm that selection to run a reverse ASIN against those 4 ASINs. Run a search. It's going to do that heavy lifting for me. And then the 2 things that I would mention where this is really addresses, that, again, the pain points that we saw is keyword research is great, but it's often done in a vacuum. You don't know how those keywords are performing relative to your product. So it's almost like you're finally looking at the other side of the coin, like how are these new keywords? Am I already ranking for them? Am I tracking? Are they relevant to my product? So we can easily, once we add those target ASINs, those 4 ASINs we searched, add in our ASIN. It'll take it from our product manager, the first view that we took a look at when we access Seller.Tools, add in our ASIN, and then it will start breaking down some of this information for us. And then we also have brand analytics data right here natively in Seller.Tools. You don't have to be brand registered. You don't have to do inefficient keyword research. Let's say you do, keyword research that you've seen other methodologies, and then they're used to going back into brand analytics and corroborating that data and creating some kind of, massive Google sheet. You avoid all of that. So that way this is far more efficient, far more effective. So I would encourage you to check that out. It really is a 5-minute process of, we've added in our main keyword, we've got top competitors, we've added in our ASIN. Now we can have some fun with the data. We can see, okay, based on those results, what keywords are showing up in brand analytics. Massively powerful, because that's true Amazon data. I can look at rank density of those competitors, how many of them are all ranking for a keyword. That again gives me a great assumption of relevance. So you can really dive into some of the data from there, but would encourage folks to check that out. That is, again, R2A. Keyword insights, more powerful keyword research. We actually have a bit of a teaser here. Review request is a feature that's yet to be released, but this is going to tie into Manychat flows. So by the time you take a look at this, this may be fully live. Another one I would encourage you to check alongside R2A. Last launch is going to be our launch platform. It is where in about 5 minutes you can give our tool, the app, exactly what you need to run either a discounted launch or a rebate launch. We will literally walk you through step by step what information we need to help you run a successful launch, where we find you that audience, we facilitate those offers based on what you set up. So you just give us the product, the keyword, the number of units you want to give away, and we can facilitate all of that right in last launch. Now, API, this is where we start getting into some of the Manychat functions. This is where things like Facebook, more advanced strategies that we tend to see bigger sellers fall in love with, and maybe new coming sellers, we have to really make sure it's very simple, because the complexity leads to a lot of potential, but a little bit of wariness, I think, for new sellers to really dive into that. So I'll make sure we touch on it. But these 3 points are things like your API keys. This effectively unlocks your data in the same way that we completed an MWS sync to get your Seller.Tools to communicate with Seller Central. These API keys will allow you to communicate with other tools, Manychat, Zapier, Active Campaign, any other integration that you see where an API can fold in. This is where your keys are truly that means of unlocking some of your data. Then we have the wallet. So in the wallet, this is where you can set up and utilize Manychat flows, rebate offers to give out and share funds in a number of different fashions. So we can touch on that too, Victor, as well. This is another one that I would encourage folks to take a look at because it's both simple and very powerful, where you can come in here, add funds to your wallet, manually send those funds. So as an example, if I wanted to add funds through any one of these 3 payment methods via credit card, ACH, PayPal, can add those to my wallet, then come in here and then send those funds through a number of different options, whether it's an Amazon gift card, Visa gift card, PayPal, Venmo. We can touch on how this ties into our strategies as well. But the wallet helps to facilitate that either manually, we can do it right here, or we can do it through our Manychat flows. Blacklist essentially is a means in which we can limit the number of customers and the type of customers that come into our flows. And then we have Manychat right here as well. And so I'm going to just collapse some of these in the navigation. If we look at Manychat and the free flows that we offer to our users, this is really where we try to bridge that gap. The ability to develop, stress test, refine, fold in a bunch of best practices into Manychat flows is a big pain point for Amazon sellers. So we wanted to address that by offering free flows that are strategy specific. Undoubtedly, our most popular strategy that we help to facilitate is rebate automation. And what that really entails is a Manychat flow where a customer, eligible customer, can take advantage of purchasing a product and being rebated in full for their purchase. And we have very powerful pieces that are added into that, like automated review requests. We keep bad actors out through our blacklist. We have a counter. So let's say we wanted to only give away 5 units a day. Seller.Tools can help you do that. And these flows are built and set up in such a way where you can do that automatically. So really effective. We do over $1 million a month in rebates. So we processed a pretty high volume. And that number continues to grow. And really, as you'll see with these top 3 flow options, we start to then focus on how we rebate the customer. And this is really, I think, going to get at the crux of some of our important points for today. Is the way in which we rebate a customer is also, we keep in mind the way we want to continue to engage with them. So as an example, this Venmo rebate automation flow, if we click on it, All we need to do is click download now. It's going to bring us over to Manychat to import the flow. But what's important is the customer receiving a rebate via Venmo. What that implies is that we're getting that customer's phone number. That's the only way we can Venmo that customer. But that is a really great and effective way to continue to engage and support that customer, whether it's future offers, whether that's review requests, whether that's providing them more value and building up more loyalty. What we're doing is we're using a strategy like rebates is kind of the way in. It's a Trojan horse is probably too crude of a word or phrase to use for this, but it really is a way of leading with a no-brainer offer for our customers from which we can get additional ways to engage and support them. Venmo, again, unlocks a phone number. And as we'll see, and I'll touch on this real quick because I have this ready in our presentation, Manychat just recently put out a article, I believe it was yesterday, which was really helpful. As I was digging into some of the data, this was very illuminating because it gets far less anecdotal and far more aggregate here, is that Manychat has shared with the community really a validation of a pretty strong assumption here that SMS advertising and contacting customers via SMS has a 90% open rate within 3 minutes of receipt. Ooh, wow. I mean, as a marketer, a seller, a brand, the idea of achieving that via email, achieving that really, I mean, throw any other channel out there. Those numbers are immensely impressive. And so the excess, the 209% higher response rate relative to even Messenger, which Messenger has been such a godsend for so many. And then 10 times more follow through on coupon code redemption as well. So you can start to see, this has been intentional for us, where the changes that we see in the landscape, changes we see on the Facebook advertising side, the Messenger side of things, the EU implications, there's a lot of shifting tides, but there are some kind of steady mechanisms, steady ways in which we can communicate with our customers if we can deliver value first. What's the way of unlocking that trust and ability to where we can realize 90% open rates within 3 minutes? I love seeing that aspect too, because the 90% open rate kind of on its own is immensely impressive. But then you tighten it up to, like, instead of waiting a day, 3 days, it's like, oh yeah, within 5 minutes, somebody's viewing your message, yeah. Right? What a time to market to customers, right? And again, this is, I always say this anytime I mention it, with great power comes great responsibility, right? When you have somebody's phone number rarely changes. It's a very unique, high confidence. You have a high level of confidence in that piece of information, and so it's something you want to just handle with a lot of care once that becomes something that's available to you. So we keep that in mind as we build out some of our features and solutions. Both two pieces here when we provide our Manychat flows. Again, here under Manychat and flows, is we know flow building and developing is very time and cost intensive. So when we pull that out and we give you a free resource, and then we plug in how we can mitigate all of the shifting tides, it's kind of intentionally two birds with one stone, to where you're really off to the races, utilizing some of these features. So really powerful, really effective. Yeah, and then just the last few others that I'll touch on. We have alerts that you can set up. This is a great way, again, of getting out of constantly checking Seller Central, even going to Amazon at all. When you can quickly set up a product alert and be informed. Let's say we'll take our hyaluronic acid serum example again that we have in our account. We can set up an alert. We can take a look at some of our existing alerts, but if we want to set up any new alert here, it's just a matter of what we want to keep tabs on. If our BSR, let's say, drops out of favor, do we want to be made aware of that? Do we see a hijacker on our listing? If we don't have any of those protections in place, we want to be made aware. If we have an adult tag, this was immensely popular when there was a flurry of malicious activity, sellers seeing competitors adding adult tags, and it's very hard to find. This isn't one of those things you can just go to your listing and then instantly see it. you really needed to depend on something like having an alert configured. Weight, dimensions changed. We know even slight alterations here can impact your fees. That can translate into hundreds, thousands of dollars. Knowing it in real time is really powerful. Category changes. This, again, could be Amazon miscategorizing you. It could be a competitor miscategorizing you. Very important to know that, again, in real time. ASIN not found. This is probably really the most crucial when you see dogs for your listing and not your product that should be generating revenue, right? So picking that, then having it set up to where if your ASIN is not found, set that to true. What's really cool, and the last thing I'll touch on it for the alerts, is that we can also have these sent in a few different places. We can be notified here in the Seller.Tools app. We can have an email, but we know our email inbox gets flooded. You may be batching your email activity. Facebook Messenger, this is my favorite. This is where we're all on Facebook. We're all on Facebook too much. Your team is probably on Facebook. So when time is of the essence, if you've got a product generating 20, 30 grand in revenue a month, and seconds matter, minutes matter, having that speed of notification via Messenger is really, really powerful. And then API, this is where a lot of our bigger sellers, more technical sellers, will start using things like tying that into Zapier, incorporating that into Slack for that same reason. Our team is, in these communication channels. What's the quickest way to get the right person notified if this alert is triggered? So pretty cool, pretty powerful to be able to configure those. Then we've got Prism, product research, inventory lock, where we can set up locks on inventory, so a number of units that are moving. PPCS, this is our PPC automation tool. Just a quick primer on that. Really is a simple way of approaching PPC where you're optimizing bids, negative match underperformance, extracting keywords, editing keywords at a higher level. We have day parting, we've got ad boosting strategies. So this is really something to really spend a little bit more time. But what's really great about it is it's set up in a very sequential way. As you'll see clicking through, our workflow is really, the workflow is there, and then the tools layer over the top of it. So you're losing, you're getting rid of the losers, you're extracting the winners, and then you're optimizing on an ongoing basis. It's so intuitive, and I love it. As somebody who doesn't like to spend a lot of time on PPC, it's like, give me what matters and let's forget the rest. It's a really great way of approaching PPC. So that's kind of a quick primer across a wide array of tools and solutions that we have. But yeah, we're encouraged folks to check that out, in addition to, like I said, some of the things that we'll touch on today as we get into a little bit more Facebook Messenger side of things.